Question number 72. Campbell lines is seen in X-ray of following projection. Option A, transcranial. Option B, transorbital. Option C, transpharyngeal. Option D, occipitomental. The answer is option D. It is occipitomental. Occipitomental projection. This position shows the floor of the orbits in profile, the nasal region, the maxilla, the inferior parts of the frontal bone, the zygomatic bone, and zygomatic arches with their entire length superimposed over a small part of the image. You can reference this from a textbook of oral medicine, oral radiology, and oral diagnosis. The Ravi Kiran Ongole, second edition, page number 746. You can see this projection showing the McGregor and Campbell lines at a pattern of 4 lines. Campbell lines is a pattern of 4 lines that the eye should follow in OM. Using these lines allows one to examine all those parts of face when fractures and other signs are most likely to be found, and reduces the chances of missing a fracture. McGregor Campbell lines. There is upper line, middle line, lower line, and there is midline. Upper line is called red line, and which passes through the zygomatico-frontal sutures, that is as shown by the asterisk, that is star marks, and across the upper edge of the orbits. Now middle line, indicated by orange color, follows the zygomatic arch, that is elephant's trunk, right, crosses the zygomatic bone and follows the inferior orbital margins to the opposite side. And finally lower line, which is shown by the green line, passes through the condyle, that is passes through the condyle and coronoid process of the mandible, and through the lateral and medial walls of the maxillary antra on each side. Now the midline used to assess symmetry. Fourth line crosses mandibular ramus and bite. Fourth line crosses the mandibular ramus and bite line. Fifth, across inferior border of mandible. Question number 73. Least radiation exposure occurs in option A, MRI, option B, CT scan, option C, angiography, option D, OPG. Answer is option A, that is MRI. MRI imaging has the particular advantages of being non-invasive, using non-ionizing radiation. MRI imaging include high cost, long scan times, and the fact that various metals in the imaging field either distort the image or may move into the strong magnetic field, injuring the patient. Disadvantages of MR imaging include high cost, long scan times, and the fact that various metals in the imaging field either distort the image or may move into the strong magnetic field, injuring the patient. Reference from the Oral Radiology Principles and Interpretation, White and Farrow, First South Asia edition, page number 234. Question number 74. In case of nasal fracture, the following radiograph is used. Option A, submental vertex. Option B, lateral skull view. Option C, transorbital. And option D, OPG. The answer is option B, lateral skull view. You can see this lateral skull view is used to view the nasal fracture. Question number 75. A patient of 40 years got a blow on the angled region of mandible and he is asymptomatic. The radio opaque line is shown by X-rays of that region with a very sharp undercut in the lower border of mandible, which may be due to option A, sutural diastasis, option B, overlapping sign, option C, separation sign, option D, non-union sign. The answer is option B, that is overlapping sign. The radio opaque line is shown by X-rays of that region with a sharp undercut in the lower border of mandible may be due to overlapping sign. The margins of fracture planes usually appear as sharply defined radiolucent lines of separation that are confined to the structure of the mandible. Displacement of the fragments results in a cortical discontinuity or a step or an irregularity in the occlusal plane. Displacement of the fragments results in the cortical discontinuity or step or an irregularity in occlusal plane. Occasionally, the margins of the fracture overlap each other, resulting in an area of increased radio opacity at the fracture site. The reference from Oral Radiology Principles and Interpretation, White and Farrow, First South Asia edition, page number 570. Question number 76. Which of the following test is considered as a micro hardness test? Option A, Knoop hardness. Option B, Brinell hardness. Option C, Rockwell hardness. Option D, none. The answer is option A. Knoop hardness is considered as micro hardness test. The Knoop and Vickers tests are classified as micro hardness tests in comparison with the Brinell and Rockwell macro hardness tests. Both Knoop and Vickers tests employ loads less than 9.8 Newton. The resulting indentations are small and limited to depths of less than 19 micrometer. Hence, they are capable of measuring the hardness in small regions of thin objects. The reference from Phillips Science of Dental Materials, 12th edition, page number 65. Question number 77. Which of the following is the correct glass transition temperature of impression compound? Say in degrees Celsius. Option A 43.5 degrees Celsius. Option B 39 degrees Celsius. Option C 65 degrees Celsius. Option D 100 degrees Celsius. Answer is option B, that is 39 degrees Celsius. The temperature at which there is an abrupt increase in the thermal expansion coefficient indicating increased molecular mobility is called glass transition temperature, and it is characteristic of the particular glassy structure. The glass transition temperature of impression compound is approximately 39 degrees Celsius. Below this temperature, the glassy structure loses its fluid characteristics and has significant resistance to shear deformation. Synthetic dental resins are examples of materials that often have a glassy structures. Fusion temperature is 43.5 degrees Celsius. The glass transition temperature of impression compound is approximately 39 degrees Celsius. Below this temperature, the glassy structure. Question number 78. Condensation shrinkage of porcelain during firing depends upon option A shape and size of particles, option B rate of firing and temperature, option C uniformity of particles, option D type of investment used. The answer is option A, that is shape and size of particles. Porcelain for ceramic and metal ceramic processes as well as for other applications is supplied as fine powder designed to be mixed with water or another liquid and condensed into the desired form. The powder particles are of a particular size distribution to produce the most densely packed porcelain when they are properly condensed. If the particles are of the same size, the density of packing would not be nearly as high. Proper and thorough condensation is also crucial in obtaining dense packing of powder particles. This provides two benefits: lower firing shrinkage and less porosity in the fired porcelain. The packing or condensation may be achieved by various methods, including the vibration, spatulation, and brush techniques. Reference from Phillips Science of Dental Materials, 12th edition, page number 433. Question number 79. Which of the following is used as surface hardener in agar impression material? Option A 2% potassium sulfate, option B 0.2% potassium sulfate, option C 2% sodium sulfate, option D 4% potassium sulfate. Answer is option A, that is 2% potassium sulfate. The deficiency of gypsum setting can be overcome in two ways. 1. By immersing the agar impression in a solution containing a gypsum accelerator such as 2% potassium sulfate solution prior to pouring the impression with the gypsum forming product, or 2. By incorporating a gypsum surface hardener in the material such as the sulfate used in the formulation of agar hydrocolloid and the potassium titanium fluoride used in the alginate. Reference from Phillips Science of Dental Materials, 12th edition, page number 175. Question number 80. Addition of 4% potassium sulfate and 0.4% borax to im- to impress to impress plaster helps in option A regulating setting time and expansion, option B imparting color and taste, option C regulating strength and consistency, and D adhering to tray during impression. The answer is option A regulating setting time and expansion. Chemical modifiers have been used extensively to increase or decrease the setting time of gypsum products. They are called retarders and accelerators respectively. Sodium sulfate has its maximum acceleration effect at approximately 3 to 4%. Several inorganic salts play dual roles in the setting kinetics of dihydrate, which are accelerators at low concentration and retarders at higher concentrations. For example, borax, a known retarder for gypsum setting, has been shown also to promote the growth of dihydrate crystals, but only at a concentration lower than 0.2 millimolars, that is about 0.08 gram per liter. Reference from Phillips Science of Dental Materials, 12th edition, page number 186.